Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays for this Week 6 NFL DraftKings main slate. Let's dive right into it. And like I always do here in this video, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my cheat sheet, but I cannot recommend enough joining my free Discord channel, which you can see mentioned above. We now have over 750 people in that Discord channel talking multiple different sports for DFS and sports betting. So if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment below. With that being said, let's dive into this cheat sheet here. We're going to kick it off with a couple of quarterbacks that I like. Pretty straightforward for me. If I can get up to Lamar this week, I want to spend up for him. Great matchup against the Commanders. Talked about it in my first look video the other day. This is the MVP for me through 5 weeks so far. He's been great throwing the ball, even better running the ball, and I just love the upside that he brings, a safe floor and a great ceiling in this matchup. If I can't afford that, I am 100% okay going with Dak Prescott here. I love him in tournaments, but think he's cash game viable too against this secondary for the Detroit Lions. That Lions defense is great at stopping the run, but they have not been very good at stopping the pass this year. So it's one of those two guys for me, but you can see I do have Spencer Rattler listed below. I'm not going to roster him in my cash lineup, but I know a lot of people are asking about this. Look, it's the bare minimum you can spend for a quarterback, so you need 12 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. It allows you to spend up throughout the rest of your lineup. I wouldn't blame you for going there, but again, not something that I'm going to do. I'm going to spend up for Dak or Lamar. Now, moving on to the running backs here, you can see I really like the 6K range this week, but I do want to mention here, if you want to spend up for Derrick Henry, I'd have no problem doing that. He is only getting better in this offense week in and week out, and I think that trend will continue in a good matchup here against the Commanders as well. I don't have him on the spreadsheet. I preferred to go with CeeDee Lamb. You can see that over to the right if I'm spending up for a skill position, but again, I'm not going to blame you if you do spend up for Derrick Henry. With that being said, the 6K range is looking really nice here in week 6. I like Bijan Robinson in this matchup against the Carolina Panthers, one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL. No, the rushing attempts haven't been great for Bijan. I think they will increase a little bit this week, and he has been heavily involved in the passing game, so I love that for PPR on DraftKings. Chuba Hubbard, the opportunity has been there week in and week out, heavily involved in the running game, heavily involved in the passing game. Until further notice, he's likely a cash game play. And then Tony Pollard sitting in a really good matchup here against the Indianapolis Colts. That run defense for the Colts has not been great this year. Pollard looked really good in his last game before the bye. Again, heavily involved in the running game and in the passing game. That's what I want in my cash game lineup. Now, I do like David Montgomery here. Again, more of a tournament consideration for me, and I'll be playing him there. But boy, he is just so efficient week in and week out. Usually finds the end zone, and this is a terrific matchup against that Cowboys defense, who have not been able to stop the run all year long. Now, before we dive into the wide receivers here, everyone, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. It's completely free to sub, and we now have over 4,100 people on this channel. It's growing by the day. With that said, let's dive into these wide receivers here. Kind of name-dropped him already in CeeDee Lamb. Love this matchup against that secondary with the Lions. I think this is a game that we're just going to target in general here this week, and a lot of high-scoring potential in this game. But this seems like the spot for CD to have one of those 20, 25, even 30-plus DraftKings point performances. I think he sees double-digit targets in this game, and again, there's a lot of shootout potential here. Deontay Johnson, just like Chuba Hubbard, the opportunity has been there most weeks. Last week against that Chicago secondary, which was a tough matchup, it wasn't his greatest performance, but this is a get-right spot again here against this Atlanta Falcons secondary, so I do like him at $6,100. And then speaking of Atlanta here, I think we could truly roster any one of their top 3 wide receivers. Now, you can see I got them ranked here. London number 2, Mooney number 1, largely due to the price there at 5.3K. And then McLeod in the 4K range, I rank him number 3. But it really comes down to salary for me. I'm going to build my cash game lineup and then really see where one of these guys fits. But I think all 3 of these guys could have a decent day against that Carolina secondary. And then as a couple of honorable mentions here, first guy that I got is Demario Douglas of the New England Patriots, and I like this play for a few different reasons. Number one, the price is nice there at $4,400, one of the better value plays in my opinion at the wide receiver position this week. Number two, head coach of the Patriots came out a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, we need to get this guy more involved. That translated to 9 targets last week, so I like that. And number three, most importantly in my opinion, Drake May, who's going to be starting at the quarterback position for the Patriots this week, compared Douglas to Josh Downs of the Colts, and if you remember correctly, Drake may love throwing the ball to Josh Downs when they played together at UNC. So I do like him there at $4,400. And then Trey Tucker there, the Las Vegas Raiders. We need to keep an eye on this because Jacoby Myers did not practice on Thursday. If both him and Devontae Adams are out on Sunday, Trey Tucker could be the #1 wide receiver in that offense. And then I just got one tight end listed there as a favorite cash game play. I'm looking to spend down this week, and Cade Otton sticks out to me for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you wanted to spend up for Jake Ferguson, who I love in tournaments this week, I'm not going to blame you for doing that. Someone who should be locked into 5 to 7 targets at least. Again, a really good matchup against that secondary for the Lions. I just usually don't have enough money to spend up for the tight end position in my cash lineup. If you really wanted to punt, you could go with Sanders here. Tommy Tremble is likely not going to play on Sunday after suffering a concussion last week. Sanders should step up as the #1 tight end. And again, you're really just kind of punting at that price of $2,600. Broncos here at $3,200. A little tougher matchup than last week against the Chargers, who do slow things down, run the ball a lot, but I still think this Broncos defense is too cheap here considering the upside they offer. But this is probably the defense that I'm going to go with here in the Buccaneers, playing against Spencer Rattler in his first start. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks. Let's win some money on this Week 6 main slate.